Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button down below for content like this and many more. For all your current subscribers, I just want to continue to say thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Now, what do I have in front of me? This is a 2022 Honda Civic hatchback. This particular model is the sport trim, so it has niceties like 18-inch alloy wheels, wrapped in 235/40 tires. This particular car, it comes with Goodyear Eagle Sport tires, nice, decent, grippy tires. This has a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine that makes 158 horsepower and 138 pounds-feet of torque, made it to a CVT transmission. Higher trim models, you can get turbo engine. You have to go all the way to the sport touring trim to get the 1.5-liter turbo motor that's shared with its sibling, the sedan version. This is the 11th generation Honda Civic, so it's going to be a little similar to the review that I did on the sedan version, which I'll leave the link somewhere in the video. I'm going to go over it, talk about the specs, the features, and especially the hatchback portion, because this is the hatchback version of the Civic. Stay tuned, that is coming up next. Okay, we have the 2022 Honda Civic hatchback. As you guys can see, this is the hatchback trim, so very distinct in compared to the sedan version. The sedan is a little bit bigger than this one, but this is a little bit more usable because you got a hatchback. So styling wise, in the back, as you can see, the taillights are completely different. You got they're LED, they're a combination LED and incandescent. So you got incandescent turn signal, incandescent reverse light, LED tail light and brake light, and this little trim that goes all the way across to the other side. And being a hatchback, you do have a little wiper, which is nice. So to open it up, you just put your hand right here. No power, but here is the trunk area. I like this nice little touch that Honda did. This little cargo cover, which is nice. So it goes like so, and then you have a very decent size trunk area. So you can fold the seats down by pressing this button here on the side. Push it forward. Do the same for the other side. And this is where hatchback wins over the sedan. Look at all that space. You have a lot of room here. If you want to do a little Home Depot run or whatever the case may be, you can do so easier than the sedan, of course, because being that the sedan is a sedan, you don't have this giant hatchback opening, which is very cool. So let's continue the walk around of the vehicle. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this has 18-inch alloy wheels. These are standard on the sport trim, 235/40 width tires, wrapped in Goodyear Eagle Sport tires. So this, of course, has 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, just like every modern car. This has a smart key access, so to lock the car, you just put your finger right here, and the car is locked. You know, you can't open it. So to unlock it, you just put your hand right here, and the vehicle unlocks. I'll go over the interior a little bit in a section, but it's very similar to its sedan sibling. But let's continue working around the outside of it. And I think Honda did a great job with the 11th generation Honda Civic. Some people like it, some people don't like it, some people hate it. I think I like it. It's not too bad. I do like the new LED, full LED headlights, by the way. So high beam, low beam, daytime running light, and turn signals LED. So you got this little strip right here that behaves like the daytime running light, and then right underneath it also behaves like the turn signal. This trim doesn't have fog lights, but if it did, it will go right here. And low beam, of course, and high beam is LED. Little mean looking front end, and not bad. It has a little bit of a shark nose kind of thing. You see right there, which the new, trying to look like a little bit like the new Accord. All right, let's go look at the engine bay, the heart of the beast. Then we go into the interior, the tech, and then we go for a quick and final drive of the 2022 Honda Civic hatchback. Stay tuned for that. And let's take a look at the engine bay. As you guys can see, this is an honest to goodness 2-liter turbo, 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, making 158 horsepower and 138 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a CVT transmission, and CVT has come a long way, which I'll talk more in the driving portion. And it's honest. The power is, it's not too bad. And this is pretty much it. Simple engine bay, easy to work on. Being the inline 4, you got, if you have to do service it in the future, you have your spark plugs right here, engine oil right here to add oil, and the filter. And that's pretty much it. All right, let's take a look at the interior, the tech, and then we go for a drive. Okay, stepping inside. Let's take a look at the interior. This particular model is black on black, as you guys can see, so no leather, but it has cloth materials. The front 2 windows are auto up and down. You got your mirror control switch right here, door unlock, child lock right here to lock out the seats, lock out the windows. Nice little pocket for the door. This has manual seats, but you can still adjust it comfortably. Little bucket seats. I like the pattern that they did here with the cloth. Very grippy seats. Let's step inside. And being that it is a hatchback, and it is a little lower than, of course, traditional SUVs. And taking a look at the instrument cluster, on this side of the screen, even though it doesn't look like it, this side of the instrument cluster is a screen. So from about here to the center here, it's all screen. And you can control that screen by pressing this button right here. And then that changes. You can do warnings, you could do range and fuel, speed and time, driver attention monitor, seat belts, maintenance, safety support. So if you turn that on, it changes to that. So the lane departure warning, the automatic braking, and go back, you press home. This is settings, so you can vehicle settings, you can control from that screen, which is very helpful. Lighting, door, maintenance, very cool, very helpful little screen. Got your maintenance monitor here, so it tells you the oil life, driver attention, so if you're falling asleep and things like that, the range, the gas, trip A, trip B. For now, I just leave it on no content, which looks like the traditional, and of course you got the traditional needles and gauges on the on the right, and then you have a digital speedometer on the middle. So this vehicle has automatic headlights, so you set it to auto, the lights will turn on by itself. It does have paddle shifters. It does have 7 simulated gears. And when I say simulated, it's because this vehicle has a CVT transmission. So being that it's a CVT, it doesn't have a physical gear. So I have to try it out in the driving portion, how it behaves. I do like the little joystick for the vents, which is kind of neat. Introduced, of course, in the 11th generation Honda Civic sedan, and it carries over here exactly like the sedan version. Of course, you got nice little honeycomb mesh little grille here. Got your hazard button in the middle. This has a 7-inch infotainment screen. No navigation, but it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which you can connect with your USB cable here. You do have traditional cigarette style power outlet right there. Let me turn that on for you so you guys can see. Passenger airbag warning, cup holders. You do have different drive modes. So you have, turn that light off. So you have normal, you have sport, which raises the RPM a little bit. The steering gets a little tighter. You have eco, and that's pretty much it. Normal, eco, and sport. This vehicle does have the very annoying to me automatic engine start stop. So when you come to a stop sign, the engine will shut off. So if you press that right now, see it says it's disabled, and it turns off it turns on the engine to save fuel economy. Electronic parking brake right here, and automatic brake hold on this right here. So when you come to a full stop, you press on the brake and the car brakes for you. This has single zone automatic climate control, so you can adjust the temperature like so. And go into the infotainment screen. This is the menu, the screen, of course, media. I have that off right now because I don't want to get sued by anybody. Vehicle does have, like I mentioned, backup camera. So with trajectory lines, like you guys can see, you can adjust the different angles of it. This is the traditional angle of the camera. This is more like a top-down view, which is helpful for tight parking spaces and things of that nature. There's a little bit of a kind of like a fisheye view. This one is, you could see a little bit more. Yeah, this one you kind of has like a wide angle view, so you can see a little bit more when you're backing up, of course. Higher trim models, you can get, of course, factory navigation. The screen grows a little bit, a couple of inches more. You have a decent sized glove box right there. And center console as well, you got a little glove box. This particular trim does not have a sunroof, so it's all black, which is nice. I like how everything is black and it matches the rest of the car. Of course, this being a modern vehicle and a Honda product, it does have Honda sensing technology, which includes lane departure warning, lane centering technology, automatic braking, automated cruise control. So you set the speed, desired speed right here. You turn that on, turn the system on right there. And this is for the steering assist, so it will literally steer for you. And then this, you will set the distance, the following distance that you want the car, the following distance you want the car to keep while in cruise control. And that's pretty much it. Little shifter. The shifter is, got a little leather boot. The steering wheel is nicely leather wrapped. It feels very nice. I like the stitching, and I like the piano black materials here. You got paddle shifter, like I mentioned here. So seven simulated gears. And that is pretty much it. Let's go for a quick drive of the 2022 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. Stay tuned for that. I forgot to mention the back seat before we go for a drive. We'll check out the back seat, then we go for a drive. All right, so stepping in the back, nice big windows, as you guys can see. Similar materials as in the front. And stepping in the back seat, I am 5'8". The seat is adjusted to how I drive, and plenty of leg room. Headroom is also decent. And there's a look at the infotainment screen. Sadly though, which is interesting, you don't have air vents back here, nor a armrest, which is interesting. It's a big no-no, Honda. I mean, come on. Armrest, you shouldn't be paying for, people shouldn't be paying extra for armrest. And that's pretty much it. So you could have two average sized adults back here, and they'll be perfectly fine. All right, let's go for a drive of the 2022 Honda Civic Hatchback. All right, let's drive the 2022 Honda Civic Hatchback, the sport model. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the, let me just silence my phone in case somebody decides to call me while I'm filming. I want to give you guys my best attention. All right, let's drive the Civic Hatchback. Nothing, of course, too different in terms of from the front end of the car, because obviously it shares about, I don't know, 80%, 85% of the front with its sedan sibling. I'm not a big fan of CVTs. They have come a long way though. Like I mentioned in the video, they have come a long way, and I am in my local street here, so stepping on it, it's not bad. I mean, it does take off. You do notice the CVT-ness once you really step on it, when you're driving on the highway, that's when you can tell that you're not driving a traditional automatic. Suspension is not too bad. It's actually pretty good. Maybe because the tires are nice and wide. I mean, 235, 40, they're nice, decent sized tires. And just stepping on it, this is the normal mode. So let's switch it over to sport mode. Sport mode, the steering gets a little stiffer. And let's see. The throttle does get a little better, a little snappier. So let's take it on my local twisties over here. The car it will do rev matching once you downshift with the simulated gears that the car has. So let's see here. Let me put it back out to the third. And yeah, it's not bad. It's a fun little car. Sticker price for my tester as it sits is $25,845. There's really not that much options besides the Honda sensing technology and maybe the wheels and stuff like that, but there's not that many options to add here. Of course, if you want the sunroof, I think you have to go to the sport limited trim, which is kind of dumb that they do that. You should be able to get some, everything except the base model. You should be able to get the sunroof in any trim, not just force you to get the highest version of the car to get things like sunroof. Of course, this doesn't have heated seats because it has cloth, but the ones with leather interior do have heated seats and dual climate control. But here's an example of the CVT, though. You hear it, you hear the droning a little bit, but around town, the average person's not going to notice the CVT. It does drive great. This is a 2-liter normal naturally aspirated engine, making again 158 horsepower and 138 pounds-feet of torque. The turbo models have a little bit more oomph than the naturally aspirated motors, but steering is very tight, very communicative. The infotainment screen is a decent size, 7-inch screen, decent size. The sound system, the bass sound is not too bad. Let me put it here back to sport mode. Oh, not icon. Sport mode, and going back here on the twisties, it's nice. It is nice. It does handle the road nicely. This is why I personally prefer cars over SUVs, because that low to the ground feel, where you can push a car to the limits a little more than a traditional SUV. But overall, this is a very nice little tidy package. The new Civic Type R is loosely based on the hatchback trim of this. That just came out recently, and it's pretty cool that they use the hatchback platform and not the sedan. I think the sedan doesn't look bad. It's very, very mature looking, the new Honda Civic sedan. Just like this one, of course. It's a little bit less boy racer and a little bit more grown up, and I do like the new trim with the honeycomb for the vents. And yeah, this is nice. I think Honda needs to apply the same formula moving forward to, of course, their newer trim. Now they just recently updated the HRV, which just got complete redesign for 2022. All right, guys, this is it. This has been my first drive and review of the 2022 Honda Civic hatchback. This is the sport trim. Like I mentioned, this is $25,840 as it sits. You do get a lot for your money. You do get lane departure warning, lane centering technology, automated cruise control where it brakes by itself, and all that stuff. Oddly enough though, there is no lane departure warning indicator light anywhere that I can see in this particular trim, which is interesting. They give you some things, but then they take off things that they shouldn't, which is a little weird. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and stay safe.